Translation of the graph of the sine wave is given by sine of x minus h plus k. This includes shifting both up and down and left and right. Consider f of x equals sine x, here in red, and two translations. G of x equals sine of x minus pi over 2 plus 3, and h of x equals sine of x plus pi over 4 minus 2. The graph g of x is the result when sine moves right pi over 2 units and up 3 units. The graph h of x is the result when sine of x moves left pi over 4 units and down 2 units. Use the function f of x equals cosine x for each problem below. Write a rule or formula for the new function g after the given translation. So we're going to be shifting the blue graph left or right and up or down as described. Right pi and up 1. So right pi, so right now I'm looking at this point here and I'm moving it to pi right there. So right like that and then up 1. So what is the equation for this? Well, it would be cosine of x. So we're going minus h, and h is positive pi. So minus pi, and then up 1, plus 1. Okay, and there we go. Now let's move this back to our starting position. We're going to go left, negative pi over 2. So pi over 2 is here. So negative pi over 2, and then down 2. The equation for this will be cosine of x minus negative pi over 2. So there's two negative signs. They turn into a plus sign, pi over 2, and then we're going down 2. All right, and there we go. Now we're moving back to the starting position. We're going to go left pi over 2 again. So like that, and then up 2. 1, 2. The equation for this is cosine of x plus pi over 2 like before, but then we're going up 2. So plus 2. And there we have it. Now let's move back to the starting position. We're going right pi over 4. So pi over 4 is half of one box. So I'm looking at this point. I'm going to move it just right there. And then down 1. The equation for this will be cosine of x minus pi over 4 since h is positive pi over 4. And then we move down 1. So minus 1. And there you go. The grid looks like an ice cube tray. Move the 4 pieces from the left to fill 4 small rectangles in the grid to create these functions. We're going to start off with a sine function, so that's going to look like this. So now this is a regular sine x function. Now we're going to move it to the right, pi over 2. So one box is pi over 2. This one's going to actually move to the front, and then these ones just all move over 1. Then we're going to move them up 1. So here is sine of x minus pi over 2 plus 1. And there we go. Now b, we have a cosine function. So I've just arranged these like a regular cosine wave. We're going to have a plus pi, which means we're moving to the left pi units. And pi is 2 boxes. And I'm actually just going to move these over onto the other side. So here is cosine x plus pi. Then we have minus 2. So each one moves down 2 units. And there we go.